Well, happy Saturday, everyone. Greetings and aloha. What's going on? It is Mike's from LiveMyAssOff.com, along with my very, very, very good friend
Robbie from Wakamishu's Thailand, but really from the Spot.fm or the Spot YouTube. Well, no, it's the
I
Spot
like that.
Thailand YouTube, right?
Yeah, I like that. Thank you for that. I completely forgot. It's Mike's from the Spot.fm, along with my very, very good friend
Robbie from the Spot.fm. Boom. There we go.
All right. And in case you're wondering what that's from, that's the infamous camel toe. And Robbie and I have a camel in each of our offices right now, along with the Stu studio.
Well, I'm at home.
Yeah, but it's your Stu studio.
I'm at the temporary home, but yeah. No camel toe here, buddy.
You're at your local dwelling area when you're back in California.
Yeah, my watering hole.
Exactly, yeah. Which is interesting because, I mean, you have a lot of water right now in Southern California. What the hell is going on over there, Christy?
Tons of rain. Yeah, tons of water, and it's crazy. And I'm here in beautiful Pismo Beach, and it's been raining nonstop for the past 2 days and hasn't let up at all. And it's Friday night, and I'm here with you guys.
What's the temperature like?
Cold.
So, like 60?
No. It's lower than that. It's definitely cold.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Well, you're finally in a T-shirt. The last time you were in your snowsuit when you were doing so I
got the fireplace on, man. I got a fireplace and a heater, and they're both kicking it full blast.
I used to do the same thing. Now, to be fair, I would have the fireplace and the heater on and the sliding glass door open in the window, but that was, that's just like, what
overkill.
I got the AC on, windows wide open. Yeah. Good to see you, Mariano. Thank you. And Christy, thank you for coming by, as well as the wonderful Kitty, who, interestingly enough, I don't know if the girls told you this, but their plan is to 55, Christy. Well, I mean, all that says to me is you need to give us $5 and then $5. Is they're going over to Bangka Chao. You know where that is?
Bangka Chao, is that a market?
No, so that's the island, basically. It's man-made because they carved out the side of it. But it's basically, if you watch the Chao Phraya River, it goes down and around. And they refer to it sometimes as the green lung or the green lungs of Bangkok because there's tons and tons of trees. Nice. And it's like right in the middle, yeah. So basically Kitty's our place.
Yeah, Kitty's never taken me there. What's up with that?
Gracie and I have gone twice. My CEO, he actually took me over there one time. Good morning, Doug. And it's cool because you rent bikes, and basically, I mean, like there are cars there, but for the most part, you don't take cars. You take a little ferry. I think it's 8 baht, and you basically stand on this thing that's about 8 inches above the waterline. So it's a little bit odd. But Chris, was good to. Oh my God, dude, I miss you so much. I can't wait for you to get here. Good to see you, brother. Thanks for coming by. But it's fun because it's a very biking thing. And the way that it started, like all of Bangkok, right, is it's a giant swamp. And so the sidewalks over there are basically built up on pillars above like a marsh. And sometimes they have railings on them, sometimes they don't. And you ride your bikes along that. You ride your bicycles along that. There's a really cool floating market. Morning, honey. How you doing? And yeah, it's pretty cool. It's really pretty cool. And of course, it was really awesome during COVID because there's nobody there. Oh man, I got to tell you, I talk about being spoiled because I was a consumer, right? 4 minutes, mother of God, honey, would you focus? Hopefully, you were making me bacon. That's why you were late. But yeah, it's really cool. It's really easy to get to, basically, because you know how like the BTS stop south of us is Udom Suk, right?
Yeah.
So you basically walk there, and then if you go up on sort of I don't know what you would call it, catwalk. What do you call those things like when you walk, up above like the raised thing on BTS? It's like
a bridge?
Skywalk, maybe. Anyway,
there you go.
Because it's the Sky Train, so maybe the Skywalk. And it goes all the way down to, you can walk all the way to the next stop, which is Bang Na. But right in the middle of it is Soi Bang Na. And then from there, you take Bang Na all the way to the Chao Phraya River, and then you take a ferry over. So it's very easy to get to. And so I think they're cruising over there this morning, which would be pretty good. I think they're going to go at 9.
Oh, they're going there today.
Yeah, they're gonna go for bike ride.
Is that something that somebody coming in for holiday or to Bangkok should do, or?
Right. So great question, right? And so if you guys don't know, basically today, sort of the while we've been really wildly successful with your interaction with us about pro tips and that sort of thing. Let me find the pro tip. Yeah. So Robbie asked me earlier, he's like, okay, what are the must-haves? And absolutely, we will get to that, and we will get to your comments and your recommendations on what are the must-haves if you've ever traveled anywhere, but maybe specifically to Thailand. But I would, because a lot of people ask me, they're like, well, dude, what should I do when I get to downtown Bangkok? I had a buddy of mine ask me that the other day. And I'm like, okay, well, that's a big place.
Yeah, there's lots to do. What about your buddy? Lots to do. Yeah, what about your buddy who said it's boring? I mean,
I know, right? There's nothing to do in Bangkok. I'm heading back to Cambodia. I'm like, too modern over here for you, sport? No, the Bang Ka thing is, I think it's a great thing to do. It's a little bit out of the way, and you know, if you're with a Thai person, it's an absolute cakewalk. And if you're with like guys like you and me, it's a total cakewalk as well. But it depends what you like to do. I mean, if you're like, oh my God, do they have like bungee jumping over there? Is there a jet ski place? It's like, no, you rent a bicycle.
Well, are there girls? Are they bars? Are there bar girls? Because I get asked that all the time. And I don't even drink. I mean, so I get asked that all the time.
No, but I mean, I get why, right? Because I mean, your videos were like focused on that at the beginning. And so, I mean, no is the short answer. There's like coffee shops, and it's hip, and Thais drive over there on the weekends to go to little street. Honestly, probably the biggest draw over there is coffee shops, because you know how Thais like not only do they dig coffee shops, they dig going to the coffee shop and taking selfies.
Taking selfies, baby.
My God. And so over there are those, but there's also a I think the nicest thing about it is the fact that like once you get over across the Chao Phraya on the ferry, and you get like literally you just walk one block inland, and you go to where I recommend you always rent a bicycle over there, which is Coconut Bike Rentals is what I call it, because you rent a bicycle, they give you a map, it's got a little basket and stuff, but then when you get back, they give you a fresh coconut that has been soaking in ice water the whole time. And
nice.
I'll pay 500 baht a day for a bicycle with that kind of customer service. But you're over there and you're looking around, you're like, there's no way I'm in Bangkok. I cannot believe I'm in Bangkok.
Can you see the skyline? I mean, can you see the skyline at all? Or because Bangkok, what a huge skyline.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So not really. I mean, there are parts of it where you could go and then you could look across the Chao Phraya and you could see, you know, like the super tall buildings. But as far as skyline, no, because you're kind of basically at like sea level. And so you're sort of looking out through the river. And to be fair, there are areas that are kind of gross when you look across the Chao Phraya and there's this giant oil refinery, right? If you don't know, that's like directly east of us. Like if you were to look directly east, you basically
never knew that.
Yeah. No, yeah. And so anyway, so that's why. But, you know, I'm thrilled about that because that keeps the price of fuel at a constant rate.
So the girls are going today, and they're going to ride a bike around and kind of hang out. And so you're saying that if I came on holiday, that would be something I should do? Or is it a YouTube worthy, something I should take YouTube?
Yeah, I do, because YouTube loves foodies, and they love doing Thai things. There's a neat experience I like. If you've ever been to a temple where the Buddha, basically one of the monks, he'll have like this I don't know, like a brush of some kind with like these wooden sticks, and they'll shake it like this on you, and then like the little water dots kind of fall on you.
Aren't they praying for you or giving you what do they call that? Gratitude prayer or something like that?
Yeah, good luck to some degree.
Yeah, good luck.
Kind of. I mean, it's a pseudo like washing the old, coming in with the new. It's not like a Songkran wash, obviously.
Which is coming up.
And we're going to talk about that, because we're going to talk about our presence in Pattaya as well as yours, and when you're coming back. But absolutely, Tommy, hit the like button for God's sake. Now, hold on. What's this guy here? I want to find out about this. Sprint guy, Hingham. Rob, if you don't know, that's my hometown in From South Junior High. Okay. Yeah, I would love to know who Sprint Guy is. I will absolutely have to figure that out. Thank you for coming by. I'm honored. I don't know actually who. Oh, you know what? So we're on LinkedIn. If you guys don't know, obviously we're on youtube.com/@the-spot Thailand. But we're also on my LinkedIn channel, LinkedIn/Mike Somerville. We are over on Facebook on Robbie's channel, as well as mine, as well as The Spot. And more importantly, we're over on, facebook.com/The Spot Thailand. Aloha. Good to see you, doctor. I met up with one of him. So I want to say emergency room doctor in I know he's in Hawaii, but I know like ER is not exactly accurate. Oh, Paul Sines. Oh, Doodley, what's going on, man? High five.
Doodley. So, I love it.
That's why I had it, right? Anyway, so yeah, I think it's a good thing to do. I think it's something that if you were to YouTube it, especially the market over there, people will totally love that, because the market over there has these really super old wooden Thai-like structures. You know, the whole like Thai, like teak, right? Like on pillars, old wood sort of thing. A hospitalist. Okay, I never have seen that before. So thank you very much. He and I met, interestingly enough, Robbie, over at BKK Bagels, as you know, the official bagel shop. Is he
coming back to Thailand? Is he in Thailand now?
So they have he and his wife have a condo over here. So he like just cruises over, and so he'll be back. So that'll be good to have him back.
Right on. Dude, we also got to have that meetup. I think we're gonna have to do it because we got guys who want to meet us and hang out. So, I mean, we're looking at April, kind of when Songkran hits, right? Should we make them all come to us on Pattaya?
I mean, you're going to be here pretty much like March 31st, so effectively the first week in April. And then the second-ish week, basically almost the third week of April, we're both going to be in Pattaya for Songkran. Songkran is like the 13th basically through the 15th Thailand wide, but it's the 13th through the 19th down in Pattaya, because of course Pattaya is all of everything in the world combined into one times two.
And there's lots 100. Of concerts going on, or Cardi B, some rapper girl. I don't know much about the rap scene.
No, I don't know it either.
Yeah,
I'm totally ignorant to it, but I mean, there's a guy that guy who's been, and there's a whole show. It's not just him as the performer, but it's like 3 days long, and people are paying like 15,000 baht to get into this. I mean, that's like Electric Daisy Carnival prices. I mean, that's like big cash for Thailand. So
I wonder if this is going to be at the Bali High Pier, and I also understand there's going to be a fireworks show, Songkran also.
Oh yeah, without question. I mean, I think, there's a lot of, the word I never heard before COVID, right? Which was pent up demand. Other than an excuse. No, honey, just be with me tonight. I have pent up demand. Your birthday, happy birthday, brother. Good to see you.
Yeah, he needs to give us $5, right? Isn't that what it is? $5 for a birthday?
Throw the $5 in my brassiere. And let's see. I think they pretty much, let's face it, dude. You and I were at the fireworks festival that hadn't happened. That had happened through COVID, and there was a lot of people there. But this year, it was ridiculous.
It was great. I loved it. The international one's what you're talking about. International fireworks, yeah.
So many people. Now, New Year's Eve, you were in Pattaya, right?
Yeah.
This past year. What was the level of energy and the attendance like that?
I would say not as much as international fireworks, without a doubt. I think the fireworks show at the international was better.
Okay.
And a lot more people. I mean, the beaches were packed, and it was all the way up and down the beach, if you remember, right?
Yes.
Where on the New Year's, it wasn't quite as many. It was still fun and festive. I loved it. Mm-hmm. And I don't plan on missing New Year. I'll be in Thailand every New Year as far as I'm concerned, celebrating. I love the people. I love the music. But I would say the International Fireworks Festival, in my opinion, much more active, much more stuff.
Yeah.
And it get a lot more tourists, for sure. I mean, Thai tourists was off the hook.
For New Year's, you mean?
No, for the International Fireworks Festival.
Oh, okay.
Where like New Year's, we did notice a lot more Russian people, but then again, They were all coming in grows, and there's these big
Yeah.
bus loads of people coming in, stuff like that. Still
Yeah,
pretty
I mean,
awesome. I mean, Thailand, Pattaya knows how to party. I mean, bottom line
For
is, you guys want to party. Not saying all you guys want to party, but yeah.
It's interesting because, you know, you would think like in the US, right? If there's like a party location, like, I mean, as an example, like I said, Electric Daisy Carnival in Las Vegas, it's an absolute shit show. It's very expensive. It's hot as hell. They bus you into basically this blacktop. It's like 150,000 people. It's a giant, you know, giant EDM show. And it's hundreds of dollars, right? And then, of course, if you want to spend thousands, then you can get VIP, and then you can get all this, you know, stuff. But in Pattaya, like, for example, the last weekend and the continuing next 3 weekends, music festival, completely free.
Is it going on right now? What's the event going on now?
It's the music festival. So every weekend, right, they have shows pretty much on the beach in Pattaya. And then I believe either this weekend or next weekend, one of those 4 weekends, they have the music show on Koh Larn, on the beach there. And to your question about YouTube, I mean, you did a bunch of YouTube videos about that last year, right?
Yeah, I was there April and May, and they had a music show there. I don't know if it was April, May. It might have been even during the summer. They did 3 straight weeks, and it was a lot of people. It was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it, and they did it in Jomtien and then Koh Larn also. And I just did the Jomtien, and that was a lot of fun. Totally lot of fun. Really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to doing it again. I mean, but I love music, so.
Right. And speaking of music, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to listen to great streaming music, Robbie, where can they go for that? I mean, just out of curiosity, there's got to be like an internet website of some kind.
There's got to be something going on here.
Just type in oh my God, mother of God. I don't even think you clicked anything. I think this just magically came up because we were talking about awesome and we were talking about music, and basically the AI built into YouTube, when you use those 2 words, naturally displays the spot.fm. So make sure you guys get your butt over to the spot.fm, listen to bitchin' music. You're also listening to Robbie's bitchin' voice as well as mine right now on the spot.fm, as well as bkk.fm. Make sure you head over there, especially if you like rock, and if you're up here in BKK or Bangkok, as we say, definitely cruise over there. And as you guys know, we do this every Saturday morning, 8 a.m., and we like to make this wonderful sound so that Christy will give us $5 in 3, 2, 1. See? Now we can do it again. I'm ready. I can practice all day long, my friend. Go. Yeah, do it. Red face me. There you go, buddy. There you go. Actually, put it like right next to the camera. That'll look like really creepy. Oh, dude. There you go. Oh, my friggin' God. Look at that.
You guys like the hand.
There if you ever want it, people are like, so why do you like watch Robbie and Mike's, you know, on TV? It's like, well, they spank it like pretty much every Saturday.
You get a hand job right here.
Yeah, right there. You know, yeah. I mean, just
some of my fun props there. Good time.
Well, we want to hear from you guys for sure.
Yeah. So if you guys have a tip, if you guys have any comments, questions, anything like that, stick it in the chat bar right down below. Or is it? Yeah, it's going to be down below, depending on what channel. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. We're there on Facebook. We're going to see it. But if you tune into the Spot YouTube, everybody sees it, regardless if I push the button.
Mm-hmm. So and Robbie, I mean, he's a big fan of pushing buttons. You know,
I am. I like pushing the buttons.
Attaboy. You installed them, so that's why you love doing it.
I install the buttons, man.
If you're sitting around, you're watching on a giant screen TV, Chris, and you basically want to scan a QR code, well, right above my big finger that we all know where it's been is the QR code for you to listen to the Spot. Or, like any adult would do, just go to the spot.fm. Now, we got an app coming pretty soon, so that's going to be cool. But yeah, remember that wherever you see a QR code, scan the shit out of it, and then hopefully you'll be able to go to the spot.fm. But fear not. If you're over on the spot.fm, there's always a link to bkk.fm, too, if you want to rock out with said cock out. So anyway, one of the things that Robbie asked me earlier this morning, and both of us will sort of expand on this, is what are the must-haves?
Yeah,
so I would love to hear some input from you guys on what are the must-haves. But I'm going to let Robbie start, and because from his perspective, and again, the difference in perspective is Robbie is now in year 3, right, of traveling over here.
2019, yeah,
2019, and in the transition, basically, of saying, okay, I'm going to still work globally, but I'm going to work less here in California on my business and more over there, but also work on my business in California from there. So from
Yeah,
his
absolutely.
perspective, it's going to be a little different. Whereas me, it was like, I'm quitting everything in the US. What do I need? But then it also sort of dovetails into like, what do you do with, Thailand 101, right? What's a tourist versus an expat? So talk a little bit about when you, bam, in your mind, when you asked me that question, what pops in must-haves for Thailand?
So what pops in my mind is you must have good communication, meaning a phone that works. So like this next time I come, March 31st, I arrive at 12:45 in the morning. So if it was my first time, I remember my first time arriving about the same time, and I was worried, oh my gosh, how am I going to get a hold of a taxi? How am I going to get a hold of a hotel? How am I going to go? I mean, I was like kind of panicked, excited though, but panicked.
Okay.
So having your communication dialed in before you come, like having the Line app already set up, I think had I known that would have made life much easier. And then making sure your SIM card, that you're aware that when you get off that plane and you pass the luggage, right, when you pick up your bags, just go get your darn SIM card. Make sure your phone is unlocked. So when I came this last summer, my phone wasn't unlocked, and so I ended up paying Verizon $100 for a month to be able to communicate. So that's a must-have for me, is some way to communicate with people.
Okay.
I mean, that's, in my opinion, I can't think of anything greater. Of course, you got to have a passport.
Yeah, I mean, again, yeah, right. In other words, how do you get on a plane? Well, you need to have clothes on, and you need and so I will agree with that. And as he was telling you this story, right? Hopefully, you guys were sort of ingesting the fact that we learn stuff along the way. It's not like, I had a checklist and I did. Here's all the things that I did perfectly, and you should follow my lead. Because that's exactly, I mean, it wasn't until I left the U.S. for the first time with my cell phone and I realized this whole locking my cell phone BS, I'm stopping with that. And in fact, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, because Chris is in Australia. I believe in Australia, it's actually illegal for the carriers to lock you into their phone. And I don't know if it's illegal in other parts of the country, but other parts of the world, but I can tell you that the more common behavior globally is to buy a phone that is not attached to a friggin' carrier. You can take a SIM out, you can put a SIM in at any time. And the other thing too is I also had a guy ask me to the communication thing. Yeah, I'm going to bring my phone over. It's a really cheap phone. Yeah. What should I do? I said, leave your phone in the garbage at home. And when you get over here, we'll go to a place and we'll buy one here for $200, and it'll be a 5G phone with 128 gigs of RAM, two SIM slots. Bring your SIM over from the US, because you still potentially want to get like SMS messages, but you do not want to use your SIM from the US for your data, because data over here is literally, I'm not joking, 1/30th of the cost that you have to pay for it in the US. It's so cheap. So I agree with you totally on communication. And I will say that you have that slide, right, of like sort of your really recommended apps. And one of them that you mentioned, first of all, Joe, thank you for the $5. And I'm sorry to tell you that actually you're going to need to give me a hand job when you get here, because I love you that much, buddy. But yeah, he mentioned Line, and you guys might be like, what is that? And obviously you guys have heard of WhatsApp and certainly Facebook Messenger. Well, Line is very Thailand. It's actually a Japanese company, but it's very popular in Japan,
Japanese
South
or Korean? So I thought it was Korean.
No, that's Kakao. Kakao is the Korean one.
Gotcha.
But anyway, the point is that Line is used a lot over here, whereas it's kind of like in the US, like who uses WeChat? Well, the Chinese, but that's it. But anyway, Line is used over here. However, fear not. If all you have is WhatsApp, that's absolutely used over here. But as Robbie said, one of those things, I mean, it's real easy to download and install these things before you get here. That said, I would recommend that you not set up Line until you get here, because I would recommend that you attach it to your new Thai SIM number.
Oh.
Yeah. You can always sign up for Line with like an email address and stuff, but it basically won't sign you up fully, especially if it's outside of Thailand. So, yeah.
Because I use it on my computers.
Yep.
And you just scan you get the app, download the app onto your computer, and you just scan it, and it's really cool, and it's really intuitive. That's how I talk with Kitty. That's how I talk with you. I mean, pretty
Right.
much. We talk on Google Meet and Line and here. So
if you guys
I think it's a great app. That's a must-have in my opinion.
It's a great app, and if for no other reason than if you guys have used like Facebook Messenger, you're talking or whatever, and again, you're talking with someone on the other side of the world, right? Yeah. And Line, in my experience, is got to be the most reliable. It never drops the signal. Occasionally it will, but like I can walk around on my phone, like using 5G wireless, using Skype, and that'll drop out. That'll move if I move around, but Line, it seems to really hold.
Do you have video online? Are you doing video when you do Line? Because I do a lot of video with Kitty. I mean, because I have a relationship with her. We'll do video chat every single day.
Chat. That's another big thing over here. I don't, simply because like you and I are talking and I'm walking around, and usually like my phone's in my pocket and I got my headset on and I'm doing like 3 things at once. But for the most part, when you and I talk, it's just like having basically a phone call. But I use it for that. And then just to let you know, like, what was my response, right? So when Robbie asked me that, first thing I just thought I would say a passport with more than 6 months of validity on it, because you're going to want to come over here and potentially stay longer than you initially wanted. I would submit, just like Robbie did, 3 months, this first trip. And then 2 ATM cards. And the reason
explain that.
And why did I say 2, right? That can work outside of the United States. Now, whether you have an awesome one that basically refunds everything like, Sapphire or Schwab or Fidelity, or whatever, that's up to you whether you want to like pay fees and stuff. But at the end of the day, what is a must-have? Again, passport, more than 6 months validity, so you have some flexibility. But then 2 ATM cards, because there is a chance you will lose or break one. And you'll want to still be, and obviously the bank accounts they're attached to, you need to have money in there because you literally don't need to come over here with any cash, because the minute you get off of the plane, there will be ATMs machines that you can absolutely trust. Again, provided you've let your bank know I'm using this outside the country. If you absolutely have to come over here with cash, I had a buddy ask me that, bring $100 US bill, meaning if you want to bring cash over here to exchange for Thai baht. Bring $100 bills that are in perfect condition that you get right from the bank. You can exchange those at exchange booths in the airport. You'll get a pretty decent exchange rate. A lot of people will tell you TT currency exchange, which are yellow with black letters. They give a better rate. Also, rich, those sometimes give
it really doesn't. At the end of the day, it's not going to matter that much unless you're doing thousands and thousands of dollars.
It's like, well, I got 12,000 baht instead of 11,400, and it's like, okay, well, again, you're on vacation, okay, and we're talking about sort of the initial, but come over here and have an easy vacation, which again, if you don't have a phone, you can't communicate.
Got to communicate.
I will tell you that one of the beauties of Thailand, and there's like 9,000 of them, is if you come over here and you don't have data on your phone for whatever reason, there is free Wi-Fi like everywhere. So by that, I mean 7-Eleven, every McDonald's obviously in the U.S. has pretty much free Wi-Fi. The carriers will provide you with free Wi-Fi. If you're standing on the platform on BTS, there's 4 providers that will give you free Wi-Fi, not the least of which is Facebook. And you can always sort of survive. And so I got a buddy of mine who comes over here, MetTech. You guys have seen him in the chat before. He doesn't bother with data. And so whenever he messages me, he's just somewhere where there's free Wi-Fi.
Nice.
And honestly, if he didn't tell me that that's what he was doing, I just assumed he was on vacation. He would send me a message. A couple hours later, we would communicate again, and then it would just go off because he just waits. So, it's possible, okay? But Robbie and I think I would argue that we're basically trying to tell you guys how to have the easiest time over here, the least distracting.
And if it means paying $100 a month, like here we go, T-Mobile and Verizon, they both do suck. But $100 a month, it was a pain in the butt, but I did have communication and it calmed my nerves. And like Mike's just said, if you're on holiday, you don't want to be worrying nickel and diming yourself to death.
You're like, oh my God, is this call going to cost me $4? Or whatever.
Don't even worry about it. Must-haves, have that communication, have a passport, obviously.
If you are, I will say, I agree with him. He switched to T-Mobile. If you're in the U.S. and you're going to be doing, well, T-Mobile actually works pretty much everywhere. And then they have, of course, the international, 140, and so you don't need to pay an additional $100. So you just get an additional, you just get an international plan.
I wonder. I mean, my understanding, the new iPhone is supposed to come out. It doesn't have the SIM card slot. So
that's a great point. And
gonna...
several guys had actually touched on that, I think, a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about this, is that they have eSIMs, right? And you can absolutely get eSIM over here, and you can program that in. They give you a card. And I think you maybe, I can't remember the process. I'm sure you can type a really long number in and then make mistakes, but you can probably like scan a QR code, scan a barcode.
Cool. They'll make it easy in Thailand.
Totally. They absolutely will. And in the U.S., of course, things get easy because they want to take your money. Over here, they make it easy because they're awesome. $45 a month for T-Mobile for messages and data, $15 a month. Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, it's just such a reasonable price. And T-Mobile really gets it. You got to remember that Verizon is, basically a conglomeration of a bunch of other carriers.
Several carriers.
SBC Global being one of them. But also, they're basically the biggest CDMA provider. And that's awesome if you're in the U.S. But if you're outside of the U.S., like the rest of the world that doesn't really use CDMA, then you're a GSM person.
So what's another must-have? Give us one more, then I'll give you one.
If you're coming over here on vacation?
Yeah, holiday. Yeah, holiday for sure.
To the whole non-distraction thing, I would say have insurance. Now, that's a broad brush.
But
what I mean is... basically, the amount of coverage that will handle you for the time that you are here, again, such that if you sprain your thumb or whatever, let me just back up. If you get into a jam that's like really intense medically, the last thing you want to do is start like coupon shopping for medical care.
Yeah.
Okay, in my opinion. And I would submit that MD from Hawaii would agree with me on this one. So you want to be able to pretty much, because the medical care over here is awesome. And so what you want to be able to do is afford yourself of the best, most expensive one. And so to get travel insurance for basically 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And if you get it for 30 days and you want to stay longer, you can always extend it, and it is not expensive. But like, for example, when I was a tourist coming over here, I would get an annual policy that covered me for everything, no deductible, and it was less than $200 a year.
Wow.
Now, that I could only spend, I think it was 60. It was not, it's Geo Blue, by the way, if you guys, it's not like we're affiliates or whatever, but if you just type in GEOBLUE, Geo Blue, look for them. They have travelers packages. And it allowed me to be in other countries, I think, for 60, maybe 90 days. The caveat is that you need to have U.S. insurance. And at the time I had Kaiser, and most people that are in the U.S., you have some degree of insurance, because if not, then there's a tax issue, I think. But the point is that it's great for travel insurance. So my must have is travel insurance, travel health insurance. What about you?
Well, I like that, and I'm going to put it in the bar below. So Safety Wings is something I've used for a short term when I come over. Safety Wings is pretty much, it's a holiday insurance. It goes month to month. You just pay right online, and I put the link in there. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that's pretty much what I use. I haven't had really any incident. However, don't be afraid. Bottom line is, I went into the hospital to get that chest x-ray. Myself and Kitty were sick, and I didn't sweat it at all. It was $100, $130 to get a chest x-ray and blood work done for 2 people. It's amazing. And that was at the Sukhumvit Hospital.
Ah, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So... if you get sick, you should have insurance. If you get an accident on a motorbike or a car, that'd be pretty miserable.
Now, I know that, a lot of this, some of this stuff that Robbie and I do, one could label it as potentially preaching to the choir. Because if you're in the United States, I would submit you basically grow up thinking I need insurance for stuff. Like, it's a requirement you have insurance in California for your car. I assume it's the same in every other state. You need to have some health insurance, that sort of thing. And if you're from the UK, you're probably like, why the hell would I have a separate policy for insurance? If you're a Thai person, I can tell you my experience the other day with literally getting a chest x-ray, EKG, blood test, that sort of thing. Zero money out of pocket. I'm 3 doctor's visits in, zero money out of pocket. But I work for a company and I have Social Security. And so, and the company contributes to my Social Security here in Thailand. And trust me, I'm not going to hospitals where there's cows roaming around.
No, don't do that.
There's a VIP section.
Hey, they're there, by the way,
that I go to. And because on the other side of the hospital, there are the cows.
The other side of the river.
Yeah, we don't have other side of the tracks over here, guys. We have the other side of the river.
Hey, I like this right here, the Patrick remark here.
Yeah.
Let's just take a quick peek at it. He says, must have for first timer is to have a plan for the first day, which I 100% agree with. Pay a little extra for convenient options when you arrive. 100% agree. And he left an example such as using the taxi rather than trying to figure out the BTS. And for me, arriving at 12:45 in the morning,
totally.
I download the Bolt app, but really I'll probably take the taxi. And you guys don't be afraid to tell them meter taxi, because you get this little slip of paper.
Yes.
And they might not do it on the meter. Make sure you get it on the meter. So that's a big tip right there, because that's important.
I basically write down every single baht that I spend, and it wasn't intentional. But when I came over here, I had a buddy, and he was going through some hard times. Yeah. And so he was like, "Oh my God, it's so cheap over there. I've heard you can live for $1,000 a month." We'll get to that in a second. It's bullshit, but whatever. The point is that I wrote down everything. The reason that I say that is because I didn't realize this was going to happen. But to Patrick's point, to get over here and to like set my life up over here, the first month was like 3 times the cost of the second month, because I was doing a lot of stuff. But additionally, I came over here, I didn't have a condo. Now, Robbie and I pay basically like $350 a month for our condo.
Nice condo too, by the way.
And when I moved over here, the first few days, Gracie and I were in hotels and Airbnbs. And we probably spent $700 that month because we like moved around. And every now and then we'd go into a new city, like, where are we? I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to expect. And I would just click on something. And again, my mind was still kind of in US dollars. So I'm like, oh my God, as long as it's less than $100 a night, what's the big deal? You know? And so, yeah, but here's the neat thing about that, Patrick, right? Is that, I mean, again, if you're coming over here, you're not desolate. You've got means, for God's sake, because just, to swim over the Pacific, it's not $100 flight. Okay. So, you're going to have some cash, but I agree. The other thing too, is that the neat thing about doing it this way is that you have all these other opportunities, at least in my experience, to discover. And I like doing that. I like discovering the BTS. I like doing MRT. I like doing all of these other transportation, tuk-tuk drivers, motorbike taxi I would shy away from. But it's a real neat experience. And getting around over here, there's so many options. I don't know if you had it in that slide. It's totally simple, dude, right? And the neat thing, too, is that if you're in a big city like this, and most people will start here, or if you go down to Pattaya immediately, again, it's a big city. But the point is, you're always going to be able to find someone who speaks English. Yeah. If you're in a community where you see a lot of like older Thais and you go up to them and you just say hello and they don't even know what that means in English, look for college students. Because not only are they going to basically be, taking English classes, they like the opportunity to basically converse, and that will help you because, they'll give you the hello, how are you? And if you respond like, oh, I'm doing pretty decent, how are you? They'll be like, what? Because in class they learned I'm fine, how are you? Right? And so when you don't respond that way, they're like, Michael Chan, But the point is that you can always find someone who speaks enough English to be like bathroom, help, bus, airport, help, bank, ATM, U.S. embassy, whatever.
And once you get out of the airport, I mean, the big relief you get, because you're tired, you're landing, you're like, okay, get my phone, get my money, get my bags. Did I forget anything? Once you're in that cab or wherever you guys are going, like my first trip to Pattaya, man, I felt so relaxed. I'm like, okay, I want to enjoy this next 2-hour drive. Of course, I didn't realize my taxi cab driver is probably going 1,000,000 miles an hour, but it was okay because it was in the middle of the night. So I was there in an hour and a half, and it was awesome. And the stress is gone. But again, back what Patrick said and what I've said, make it easy on yourself. Plan ahead for that first night. Other than that, I think it's pretty easy once you get in. I mean, I only booked a hotel for one night. I booked the next night on the Goda app, and it was pretty awesome. And again, this is an image of the apps that I recommend. Even on your first trip, you're going to use a Goda probably. You're going to use Line, and then the Bolt app, which we've talked about many times before. Awesome app for getting around. And like Mike said it. I mean, you can get around. I mean, gosh, I think Thailand's so easy to get around.
And here's the thing. You're also going to see, this is something Robbie and I were talking about before the show earlier this morning.
Yeah.
You're going to see, because a buddy of mine asked me, you know, some of these questions that I'm like, oh my God, let me see. Let me guess. You saw a YouTube video where someone said this and therefore you believed it and it's totally wrong.
Don't believe it. Don't believe us.
Right. Do it yourself. Absolutely. The Bolt app, the reason it's so good is because, yes, it's cheaper, but if it wasn't functional, that would be disappointing. But you're going to get, much like in the U.S. where a guy will have an Uber sticker and he'll have a Lyft sticker, right? So here, potentially the guys that are Grab drivers are also going to be Bolt drivers. And they like it because you pay them cash. Now, a couple of neat things to realize about this. First of all, the cash you pay them, their expectation is it's going to be it's going to be the exact price.
Yeah.
So if your ride is like 107 baht and you give this guy 120 baht, I'm not joking. He'll be happy with the 13 baht tip, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you and I have experienced this.
Yeah.
And so I would argue that because of that and because there's not this BS, I'm like, oh yeah, here's 150 baht, right? It's just like, because they're so goddamn nice to you, you know?
Yeah. You want to give them that. It's 13 baht.
Sure.
You don't want to carry change.
Precise, because it's heavy, right?
Yeah.
So Bolt's really good for that. But here's the other thing, too, about Grab, is that Grab is a very mature app over here. The people that work at Grab, they call it their super app because it does a lot of things. But as far as transportation goes, I have not heard one scenario where someone has left something in the Grab car and they've not gotten it back. All I hear, I'm not talking about like once in 1,000. All I hear are like, oh my God, I left my $1,000 iPhone in the thing. And then I was in the lobby of my hotel. The Grab driver pulled up and gave me my phone, right?
Yeah, we had that happen. So I went to Thailand that would have been 2020. And my buddy left, his phone fell out in the taxi cab. Yeah, and it's one of those flip phones. They were $1,200.
Oh,
and he had only had it for a week.
Right.
So unfortunately, we didn't know how to get a hold of the cab. We didn't know because we just found him on the side of the street and said, "Okay, we want to go here." And he wouldn't have known. So whatever happened to that phone, it's long gone now. But that happens for sure. So
it totally happens. Yeah.
It happens. So here we go. Here's a message from Rick Bell. So I put this on here because last night I was with Rick here in Arroyo Grande, actually Grover Beach area where I live, where I kind of vacation. I don't know, come for a stop in.
He lives outside the Thailand.
Outside the Thailand stop in. And we went to a Thai restaurant and we started talking to the waitress. And the waitress was so excited that I could speak Nit Noi.
Right.
Very little Thai, but she was so excited.
The butcher on the spot.
It didn't matter to her because she said this as
language, as
it's pouring rain outside. She said this to us. She goes, "Nobody ever talks to me. Thank you so much, Kampunka." And she's been here for 2 years. And what's cool is in Bangkok, she's an attorney,
right?
And
but
she makes more money as a waitress.
You know what's so funny? And guys, I would submit you're going to do this. I don't know if Robbie does this. He probably does. I did this a lot. I came to Thailand and there was Thai stuff. And then I went back to San Diego and I obsessed about, I would literally go to a Thai massage place just to see if there was Thai people. I would go to a Thai restaurant, but I would first look in the, in the States when I would go back to San Diego. I would go into a Thai, but I would look in the back because a lot of times they'll have Mexican cooks, which are fine. And they're actually really the best cooks in a Chinese restaurant. But in a Thai restaurant, if there were Thai cooks in back, oh my God, that was amazing. And I completely agree. I would do the same thing. I would want to speak Thai. I would want to do Thai stuff. I would want to
it's fun. I enjoy it. I mean,
it's great.
To order, I think I ordered Pat Kapow Thai Dao. So basically Pat Kapow with a fried egg on it. And it was awesome. And it was kind of cool because she looks at me and of course I say, my pet. And then she knew and she lightened up and it was really kind of cool.
Not spicy.
Not spicy. Here's a question from Joe. How long does it take to get from the time you land and get in a taxi and there you go?
The flight lands at 9:45. So the short answer is I would allocate about an hour. How long can it take? I mean, again, the answer to every good question, of course, Joe, is, as you know, it depends. The time that it takes you to walk from your gate to immigration can be 15 to 20 minutes. Thailand airport is enormous. And so the time that it takes you to get there, now you'll see people like in golf carts, right? Because they're just like, they don't want to walk after a 14-hour flight. So they pay extra and they get over there. So it can take you about 15 minutes or so to get to immigration. Once you get to immigration, I don't know if you're flying over here on business class or Robbie's experience is, usually if you have like a business class ticket or whatever, you can go through the priority lane, which means you get up there, there's maybe one person in front of you. And I only know that because I have Trusted Traveler and I have Asia Pacific Economic Community Business Travel Card, APEC Travel, BTC. And I get to go through the priority lane. And that's very quick. But the immigration thing, 9:45, that's actually not a common time, right, Robbie, for people from the U.S. to land. Usually,
not at all.
U.S., you're landing like midnight, 1 a.m. kind of thing, and it can be busy at immigration, meaning the line to get into your luggage, basically. So, Joe, I would say...
Yeah, and if you're not checking luggage, I mean, it's much, much, much faster.
I usually get through immigration and I get to the luggage belt before my luggage gets there. And again, the airport is gigantic. Yeah. So for them to empty the plane, get it on trucks and get it over to the luggage, sort of deliver it takes 45 minutes to get your luggage kind of thing from the minute you get off the plane.
And someone like me, who I've never checked luggage since I've been coming. I mean, I try to get off that plane. Being in business class, I'm sitting up front, so I am the first one, and I walk fast. I'm out the door. One thing, because I have anxiety, and it's just my brain. I'm so excited when I land, and it's like, can't wait to see Kitty. I can't wait to get on the cab. I can't wait to go wherever I'm going to go and have my first real Thai meal. I mean, it's just all that stuff. Yeah,
that's true. So I wanted to say a couple things, too. I wanted to say thank you so much for Side Trip Life. If you guys have not watched this guy's channel, he's friggin' amazing. He's a Canadian, but he comes over here and he travels, and he's an awesome, awesome guy. And his videos have only gotten better over the years. So thank you so much. He's incredibly popular. He's got like 50,000 subs at least.
What kind of videos?
So basically, it's travel. And one of the things that he does initially was just like video, and then there would be a caption. And now he's like kind of transitioned to doing that, as well as using his voice to describe it. But he does so if you like want to, literally when I would watch his videos, I would do it with a pen and a pad of paper because I would like write down all this stuff to do. It's very educational, but he's also an awesome, awesome guy. And I love it, both Robbie and I really appreciate the fact when people that are quite frankly very popular, in demand, and don't have a whole lot of time come over to our live stream. So thank you very much, Side.
Much appreciated.
Always great to see you. Here's Chris's other pro tip. And I love this because as Robbie was talking about, right? He uses, is it safety wing? Is that what you call it?
Yeah, safety wings. Yeah. And I put the link in there earlier and I can do it again, but
totally. Yeah, but also the motorcycle endorsement, because in California, for example, as well as Massachusetts, you get a driver's license, and for the most part, it's for cars. And then you need to sort of prove to them that you can also ride a motorbike. And in California, you get an M on your driver's license, which is called the motorcycle endorsement, like Chris is talking about. Then when you go and get your international driving permit, the only international driving license that really exists is more of a European thing. But at the end of the day, you'll hear people mistakenly refer to it as their international driver's license. But for the sake of argument, yes, you have that. But if you don't have a motorcycle endorsement on the driver's license from your home state, then you don't get that. And the reason that that's an important safety tip, for the most part, you're not going to have issues with motorbikes in general. You're not going to have like scams, and you're not going to get back, and they're going to be like, you put a scratch on here, it's a brand new motorbike, you owe me 12,000 baht. Absolutely, that's going to happen, okay? But it's rare. It's not going to happen to you. It's going to happen in the world. Yeah, it's like 1 in 10,000, right? So don't sweat it. But do be prepared to basically be held accountable if you do something really stupid or you get into an accident, no fault of your own.
How about a ticket? I mean, I've gotten a ticket for no license. It's 500 baht.
It is.
And you know what's crazy is they let you get back on the bike and go. And I got pulled over again 2 days later, and you show them your ticket that you just got and you paid, and then they just let you go. They're you have like, 7 days.
So that's how you get away with it right here.
Yeah.
And again, the way Robbie's describing it, realize that it's the whole grain of salt. You're not going to go to jail. It's not this massive, it's not going to be this snap. But to Chris's point about insurance, because, again, I buy health insurance not because I'm going to get sick, because if I buy insurance, I usually don't get sick. If I wash my car, it rains. If I buy insurance, I don't get into an accident.
That's a good thing, man. That's a good thing.
Just realize that if you're getting to the point where you're going to use your services, that sort of thing, you do have to play by the rules. And so a lot of times your insurance or the insurance that the motorbike rental place will have will not cover you or them if you don't have the legal right to drive a motorbike, if you don't have the motorcycle endorsement, that sort of thing. That's a very important tip, because don't get all high and mighty thinking, oh, well, I have insurance that covers me. It's like, well, yeah, but you didn't play by the rules.
I have a license. I'm invincible.
Yeah. Oh, I'm from America,
I'm from America. I don't need to wear a helmet. And they'll get you on the helmet, guys.
Yeah. They will get you. Here's the thing on that. It's kind of like saying, oh, how proud of myself that I don't use a condom having sex with this girl who uses intravenous drugs. Wear a friggin' helmet. People ask me, oh my God, why are you so into the whole helmet thing? I retired at 50, and I retired because I do this for a living. This is my retirement. Okay. I got to the point in my life because God blessed me with something that allows me to make good choices and help other companies do that sort of thing. If you're a weightlifter or you're someone who uses their physical body to basically generate your ability to have a great life, then I would probably, this might not apply to you. But for me, north of the neck, most important thing I got. Yeah, trust me. So I'm covering it.
So speaking of helmets, Mike, you want to lead us into who helps us with our show?
That's a great segue. I mean, in all honesty, because here's the thing, right? As far as pro tips goes, guys, it's like, where do I go for? I had a guy ask me the other day, where do I go for a decent hotel in downtown Bangkok? Okay, you mean one of the 12,000 that are available? And I also get this, where do I rent motorbikes when I'm in Pattaya? And the cool thing is that you could probably accidentally find this place if you type in Pattaya motorbike rentals, right? But here's the cool thing. If you do, you're going to get this place. And the people over at this place are really cool. They are absolutely sponsors of our show, and they're really cool people. And the reason they're sponsors of our show, and we let them, quite frankly, is because they're pretty cool. Bottom line is that if you go over there, you walk into the door and you check in on Facebook for Pattaya motorbike rentals, you get 10% off. And why is that so amazing? Well, because some of the motorbikes they have are only 100 baht a day. Robbie and I jokingly refer to them as the home of the 100 baht motorbike. But Pattaya motorbike rentals, check them out on Facebook. They're they're great people.
Tell them we sent you. Tell them we sent you.
Yeah. Tell them you heard about it on Spot, actually.
That will
You might even get a bumper sticker. For sure.
You might get a bumper sticker. I saw a couple more questions come through, so let me get in there. So let's see here. Here we go. The best type of map to use. I use Google Maps. Mike, do you use something different?
No, I do, and that's interesting, Tommy. Have you had many bad stories about Google, or have you heard bad stories about Google? Because I will tell you that my experience with Google is excellent. Now, I'm a technical dude, and so I know how to use it to basically manipulate, to my success. Here's the best tip I will say. Use Google Maps, use Google Translate, but prepare ahead of time. So open up Google Maps on your phone and basically, stretch it, right? Or shrink it such that all of Bangkok is right here. And then download that map locally to your phone, because you're potentially not going to have coverage or something, or it'll be weird. But for the most part, you're going to have GPS. Unless you're in the basement. Yeah. So you download the local map, and that really helps if you're out in the middle of nowhere too. And you're driving down.
I have never done that. There will be a good idea.
Yeah, it's a good tip, but to the point, it's also with Google Translate. Download Thai so that you can do English and Thai, because if you don't have internet access or you don't have a decent connection, you're going to still want to be able to use those apps. I actually don't. I mean, I could think of other map apps for your phone, but I don't have any. That's for sure. I absolutely just use Google Maps. Now you have an iPhone, right? And so they have different. Don't you have Apple Maps or something?
Yeah, but I use the Google Maps. It's not failed, and it's what a lot of the Thai people use. So when I ask people where am I going, where I'm at, when you look at the taxi drivers, they all have Google Maps. So
yeah,
I mean, they all use it, so I'm going to use it. So
I think that Grab, you know how like it talks to the driver
Yeah.
and tells you where. I believe it's integrated with Waze.
I didn't know Waze existed out here in Thailand.
Google bought them, right?
I
But
didn't
the
know
reason
that.
they did is because the reason that Waze works is because people actually give their input about what's going on. So they would, right? And Google loves data when it comes from humans. And so, but the point is that I think Google Maps is a great solution. What does Patrick say here? Patrick, by the way, comes by the show almost every week and gives us really great questions and really great input. So thank you very much.
Yeah,
so,
this is a good one right here, because this is what I do. Is Patrick saying he usually takes the bus from basically Bangkok when he lands to Pattaya, and I do the same thing when I was going to Pattaya, and it is calming, and you don't have to worry about anything. The bus is super inexpensive, 144 baht. So what is that? $5
maybe.
And it's a 2-hour drive, and then once you get to the bus depot, figure it out from there. I mean, I do the same thing. I think that's pretty awesome.
I completely agree. And a lot of guys will be like, oh, you're a cheap Charlie. You're not taking a taxi. And I totally get that. I mean, if you get off and you're like, dude, I need to get out of this airport, but the jitters, to your point. Again, I just want to reiterate what Robbie said about this $5 bus. It's quite comfortable. The air conditioning works too good.
Too good.
So
bring a blanket.
For a guy like me and probably like Robbie, I wear a ski hat when I'm on these buses. Now they're not brand new. So therefore, reason I say that is the ductwork above you for the air conditioning, it might not have louvers that you can close.
It's a bus.
So it's a bus, but it's not like a public lame ass bus, and it does have air conditioning, and it's usually pretty clean. Sometimes the seats will be imperfect.
I love this right here. Time to get going. Comes in, stays a couple days in BKK before he heads out to his province or area, which is in Surin. That's Isan, right? Surin, Isan?
No, not totally. It's not that far north.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it is. It's a complete, separate. It's out of Bangkok, that's for sure. Because a lot of people will refer to 2 blocks from where we live as Bangkok, when in fact it's a different province. But for sure. The transportation thing, and here's again, if you're coming over here for the first time on vacation, I would recommend, like Robbie said, take a taxi. You will also have the option to take like a Mercedes from the Bangkok airport, not necessarily Don Muang, but they absolutely have that available from Smart and Boom, and into town here. And I mean, again, it's not going to run you anything close to the cost of what that would be in the United States. I used to take a 10-minute drive from the airport in San Diego up to the university where I worked, which is, if you know San Diego and you know Mission Bay and you know the University of San Diego, it's right up there. It's literally like 10 to 15-minute drive, $45 for a ride. So you're looking at about 1,500 baht. Robbie and I can take a taxi from the airport to Pattaya, which is sometimes a 3-hour drive for 1,500 baht or less, in a brand new Toyota Corolla taxi or a private car. And that's usually what I do. I will say that one of the things that I would use, because you might not get there. I mean, and now Patrick did clarify when he's there during the day and the buses are running like every few hours. I used to book with Pattaya, the number 4, and Leisure. And again, they're not a sponsor or anything, but I will tell you that Pattaya4leisure.com, they provide great, reliable service. They've never done me wrong. I've taken them in the middle of the night, 2 and 3 in the morning. I've also taken them in the middle of the day. But Pattaya4leisure, if you guys want to set up a cab to basically be at the airport and wait for you, no matter how long it takes.
With a little sign with your name.
Yep, yeah, Kun Mai, so that's kind of neat.
Look at this, Joe flying. Class. What the heck, man? I fly business. So, Joe, what airline are you flying? Because I'm curious, what's the difference between your first class and then my United business flight?
If he's coming from Florida, he might be taking JetBlue over to Emirates. That could be pretty awesome.
He's coming with the backpack.
Great work, Joe. Joe, I know you've come over here before, but please do afford yourself of the priority lane. Since you have a first class ticket, literally all you have to do is show that to the people to get through priority, because you'll get through there in like 10 seconds.
Free Wi-Fi. Christy is still on. Wow. She usually tunes in for a little bit and checks out, but she is still tuned in. Nice.
Thanks, lady. What did he say about his Samsung? Oh, we got dual SIM, yeah. G'day, Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan's on from the big reel.
Dude, you're friggin' awesome, man. I'm serious. I love your channel. I just wish I had more attention units to watch all the great content. But
I'm going to check it out, so he'll get another sub here. I'll check out his channel for sure.
I think the one that I refer to are his videos. Sometimes they're 2 and 3 years old of how he took the train out of Bangkok and went to like various cities. Because again, guys, the trains here, they're old, but they're free. I mean, it literally costs, I think, $1.10 for Gracie and I to take a 4-hour train ride down to like Cha'am or Hua Hin, for example. But they're an experience. And as Joe will always give me shit, never wear a white shirt when you're on the train because it doesn't have air conditioning. The windows are open and all the dust blows in on you. So basically half of my body was dirty on my white shirt when I was driving down there.
Nice.
But don't be like,
tan shirt. Nice tan
Yeah,
color.
totally. Yeah, it was all tan once I got there. But, a lot of people, I'm going to get the first class and do that. Because it's not a ton of money, right? But the point is that like for the cheap seats, I like it a lot better because the trains, you think the buses are cold. The trains are freezing cold. And the extra money that you pay isn't necessarily a better experience in my experience because I'm uncomfortable. I'm freaking freezing inside this box. Yeah, I have my own bathroom, but yeah,
how hot is it now?
I like the cheap seats.
I mean, I'm over here in California and it's in the 60s, 50s actually. So how hot is it right now?
So right now it's probably, and it's like 9 in the morning. It's probably about 30, 35 Celsius.
Nice.
And you got to remember,
freaking
guys,
hot, man.
March and April, 2 hottest months in the country. And so right now it starts getting hot and humid. So it is hot in Bangkok. I love it.
I'd rather have the heat than the being in the cold.
Oh my God. Any day of the week. Dude.
So I love this from Joe. Do I have to pay more for a pat down? Joe, save it for the ladyboy massage. It's all right, buddy.
Totally. Yeah, where you're staying, Joe, at the Hyatt, you just walk out on the sidewalk and you can be like, can I have a pat down? You'll have people lined up.
They will. Yeah, they will. What's this right here? I go fun. Copenhagen via.
Yeah, so basically what he's saying is you're going to find some foreigner that comes over here that says, oh, I don't need a helmet, then gets in a motorbike accident, then ends up in the hospital, didn't buy insurance, and he needs money, so he opens up a GoFundMe page to basically be like, oh, woe is me, pay for my medical bills because I'm freaking incompetent and I couldn't spend $200 ahead of time and sign my name. So yeah, absolutely.
So begging for money the modern way.
Yeah.
Do you know how we beg for money? This is how we beg for money.
I'm not even wearing pants right now. That's how much friggin', basic. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So to support the channel, The Spot, the first thing you can do is subscribe, smash that like, do a comment, listen. And if you want to buy an awesome shirt, we definitely would appreciate it. And if not, we just love it that you guys are here, subscribe, liking, and listening. So you guys, make sure you hit that like button. We really would appreciate it. And again, if you want an awesome shirt, this is Robert Mack here. I don't know if he's on. I haven't seen Robert Mack in a while, man. He was my #1 guy for a while.
He's your model. He's absolutely your model.
So if you guys want to go pick up your shirt, you go to thespot.fm, pick one up for yourself. And lastly, in the next few weeks, we're going to be tuning off, walking on my shoes, and live my ass off. And we're going to end up going to the Spot YouTube channel. So definitely make it a good habit and go there now. Just go straight over there, whether on my channel, Mike's channel, wherever you guys are listening to us, just go to the Spot YouTube, smash that like, leave a comment there. That way everybody gets to see it, and that would be kind of cool.
Absolutely. I completely agree. And also check us out on bkk.fm if you guys want to, especially if you want to hear the Barry White voice that Sidekick Life loves.
Johnny Cupcakes only on The Spot.
And this guy right here is Johnny Cupcakes, ladies and gentlemen.
That's
How
it.
you doing there, Ryan? Good to see you, brother. Thanks for coming by.
The Wombat. I haven't been there in a while. I look forward to having my Berkey Bun Wombat. It's really cool. It's a breakfast sandwich. It's really cool.
A few toiletries that you might not typically bring on vacation in your home country because they are most available. Razors, deodorant. Totally agree. Robbie asked me the other day, like, what's one of the things you bring over here from the U.S.? What do you bring back in your luggage? And one of them is I like Edge Extra Shaving Gel. And over here, it's about $20 a bottle because there are certain things that the Thais do not use. Again, you can get anything in Bangkok. You just might have to pay 2, 3, 5 times more than you would pay in the U.S. for it. So yeah, so I do bring stuff over like that. I absolutely agree.
Totally. And here's
Rex
something I
Faboili.
bring.
Wow. Never
Here's
heard of
something
that.
I bring as kind of a pro tip. I bring one of these guys with me. So
And
if
what's
you
that?
guys want to bring your own Advil or aspirin or whatever, you can bring one of these. So you see all these drugs.
Little pill box.
My
Yeah,
little
I
pill
got it.
box. And it's awesome. And then I have medication for when I'm flying. I have different types of aspirin and Advil. I have whatever I need in this little pill box. You can even bring your Viagra's, guys. Just put it right in here. There's one thing I do recommend if you decide to do the pill box, take a picture of your prescription from the bottle.
Smart.
Because I have been questioned about that, and I just show them the picture and they just let me go, just like that.
Yeah,
no big deal.
Exactly.
But also, I had lost. Not lost. I didn't have enough meds for my long trip when I was there because I was only going to be there a month, and I was there a couple of months, and so I had to go to the pharmacy, and they go, "Well, you got to have a prescription," and then they sent me to. I was in Phuket. I don't remember where they sent me, a little hospital or something. Mm-hmm. Showed them my picture. They gave it to me, and I was good to go. So
yeah,
there you go. There's my.
Again, to that point, so here's the good news: is Advil isn't as like prolific as it is in the United States. You can get Tylenol anywhere, and the neat thing over here is that you don't have to worry about buying the generic like acetaminophen or the other generic name for it that I forget that is used a lot more commonly over here. Paracetamol, sorry. But in the U.S., if you buy a giant box of 3,000 of them from Costco, they'll be called acetaminophen. But you can buy Tylenol anywhere. You can buy it at the 7-Eleven. You can buy it. It's one of the very few sort of pills that you can actually buy like over the counter. Over the counter experience over here is a little bit different than in the U.S. But there's also pharmacies everywhere, and you can go in and say, hey, how can I get this? Now, if you're not in Bangkok and you're elsewhere, occasionally, depending upon the medication, you will hear from them, yes, we can get that for you. We need to order it from Bangkok. So just realize that it may take a few days for you to get something there.
And then if you guys are looking for, again, Viagra or any of those types, Cialis, any of that stuff, do not buy it on the street. You can go to the pharmacy. No. They'll have something for you. And you're going to have tons of guys trying to solicit to you right on the street. They're just trying to earn a buck. They're not trying to rip you off. This is what they think it is. And they're going to try and sell it to you, and they'll push you. And don't take video of it. They don't like that. So as a YouTuber, I don't shoot video. Yeah. So
and here's the other thing. Is that you're going to get that of a lot of things. There are a lot of things for sale on the street that you could literally walk into 7-Eleven, like 20 meters down the street, and get the exact same thing. You can't buy Viagra at 7-Eleven, as far as I know. I don't know. But you can absolutely get it at probably every single pharmacy in Thailand. So that's a great tip. Great tip.
Well, here we go. Would any of you consider living in Isan? Seems like an interesting experience. So for me, I have never been to Isan, but I really like Bangkok for the big city, but I'm also a beach bum. I'm a lover of the beach. I've lived in beach community for about 30 years now, so I can't picture being away from a coastline very long. So I don't know. I mean, I've never visited Isan. I do plan on going sometime. I don't know when. Maybe this trip. I don't know yet. So what about you,
guys? Don't forget, saying "Would you ever live in Isan" is the equivalent in the United States of saying, "Hey, would you ever live in the Midwest?" Okay, Isan is a giant area that is arguably usually labeled as the poorest area of Thailand. It's not like a slum. Okay, it's just that the people there primarily are farmers, and they're making less than people in the big city. And it's very cheap to live there. I have lived up there for a while in an area called a province called Nakhon Ratchasima, specifically in an area called Korat, on a farm. And there was like 7 rye, and the girlfriend at the time, long before I met, or not long, but before I met Gracie, she was trying to, farm potatoes. And if you don't know, what's the reason she would ever farm potatoes? There is a lack of potatoes in Thailand. They don't necessarily basically farm potatoes. Lay's potato chips are incredibly popular over here, and they need to outsource potatoes from other countries. So if you see a Thai person, they're like, I think I'm going to start doing potatoes instead of rice. That's the reason, because they can make a lot more money with potatoes than rice. But the point is that, again, if you like the country, if you like no beach, if you like pretty much speaking Thai, then that would be cool. Because like I've been into what we have over here, which is the equivalent of sort of a Home Depot in the US. Over here, we would refer to it as a Home Pro, as well as,
it's called Home
areas.
Pro. It's called Home Pro, isn't it?
Yeah. And there are other, versions of it. But the point is that like there's Mr. DIY, which is awesome. But you go into any of those places, they're not going to speak English. So
they're always trying to help you too. Isn't there like a person for every single aisle that just stands there and watches you, and they'll come up to you? It's pretty incredible.
It's pretty awesome. Home Pro arguably overhires. But they don't have the requirement that the employees speak English. Okay, so even here in Bangkok, just realize. But so Isan, it's full on Thailand.
Have Google Translate. So here we go. Speaking of that, everybody's friendly and all that. Mark says, and this is a great pro tip. I'm going to put it in on the website.
Mm-hmm.
When you go to Thailand, try to smile a lot because it is the land of smiles, and people are going to be friendly, and you're going to feel it when you land. I mean, when you're there, you're going to feel. People genuinely are happy people.
It's a way of greeting. If you are from California, you might like sort of understand. You walk down the sidewalk, you look at the other person, you smile, you potentially say, hey, stranger you've never met before. If you're from New York City and you're a dick because you're from New York City.
Don't be a wiener.
And when you like look at someone and if you smile at them, they look back at you thinking, how do I know you? How dare you greet me? Then
there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Boom. You're not going to be comfy over here. I can tell you that right now. It is not a way. Oh my gosh.
Pounding
nice
sand,
work,
baby.
Dude. Good job. So wait, is that Brent and Aunt B?
Yes, I believe so. Yes, as Brent and Aunt B. He just sent it to me. He says, check your messenger. And I did, and I pulled it up real quick. So there we go.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys, for supporting the channel. I can't believe that shirt fits her because I didn't have any small shirts. So it's a little baggy, guys. So
it's hanging off her shoulders, but she looks awesome in it. I'm so honored you guys did that. Thank you so much. And thank you for sharing that picture. If any of you guys have a picture and you're wearing only that, and no pants, then Joe, please send me one.
Here's a pro tip to you, Mike, from Christy, because we know how much we love Christy. I don't know if she's already signed off, but here you go.
I got to tell you, for me, I mean, I've taken it a few times. It is not worth the headache, literally.
Literally the headache.
I was just like, forget it. I'm distracted. This isn't working at all, So find another way to fix your blood flow, guys. Trust me. 13 viewers
13
and only 5
viewers.
likes. Yeah,
let's get the likes, guys. Pound that like button. We definitely would appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Get us over on the spot. If you're anywhere and you're not on the YouTube Spot channel, please just type in @TheSpot Thailand, hit enter, bam, and it'll go to YouTube. Please like us over there. Hit the bell so you're going to get notifications when we go live, and make sure to improve.
And start tuning in. Start tuning into the Spot YouTube, because when we're off walking my shoes and live my ass off, that's where we're going to be. That's going to be our home, and that's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. Have an open mind. Oh, yes. I mean, that's a huge, huge tip. Keep an open mind. I mean, if you're going over there to Thailand with your conservative views or your ultra-liberal views, whatever, I mean, honestly, don't go there with it. Go there with completely being fresh, like being born again. I know that sounds all religious, but you know what I mean.
I would label a lot of people in the United States as being freaking uptight, because like the freedoms and everything that you have in the United States, I would argue we've gone too far. Like, for example, because you put a red scarf around a dog, don't bring it on my freaking plane.
Oh, you're talking the States. Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
Way over. Don't bring it into the grocery store and have it hang out with its fur near my freaking kumquats, okay? And yes, I buy those regularly. But the point is that here's the easiest way to find out if you're open-minded in Thailand. If at any time you are over here and you think to yourself, boy, we would never do it that way in the United States, turn around and leave.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you here. Robbie doesn't want you here.
Nope.
And Kitty doesn't want you here. And definitely Gracie doesn't want you here. I have had so many conversations with white women, and I've told Gracie about the conversations, and she's like, oh, was it a white girl? And I'm
It's
like,
so
yeah, that's why she
crazy.
was a bitch. No, I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
you gotta be chill about stuff because restaurants are different. Things are just different. If you're expecting the service you get in the United States at your local Denny's or your local whatever, you're not going to get that here. It's just a whole different atmosphere.
Yeah,
It's just the
for
way
sure.
it is. And food's awesome in Thailand. You can find great food, you can find crappy food, and I love eating in Thailand. I mean, heck, Eat Out
It's-
Patio. Where's that channel gone? We need to revise
Where's the
that
big
channel.
reel? Absolutely. Here's
Yeah,
what's interesting too is that you think, oh, I can only get decent food if I pay a lot of money. My experience, every time Gracie and I have
Opposite.
paid over 500 baht for an entree in a restaurant where we're sitting down and the atmosphere is arguably Western, it's lousy. When we've spent 100 baht or $3 on an entire meal for both of us on the sidewalk, that's the good food, guys.
100%
I swear to
agree.
God. Big time.
100% agree with that.
But I love your comments. Patrick, are you like he's a YouTuber, right? Do you want to come on our channel, dude? Because I love your comments, and I apologize. I'm horrible at getting, Robbie, thank God, is here, and he gets to the comments in a decent time. But Patrick, shoot one of us an email or something like that. I would love to have you on the show as an additional guest. That would be awesome, man.
Where's
really
Patrick
appreciate
at now? Isn't he there?
That's a great question. I don't know that. Let me go to the channel here. I want to find out. Well, if nothing else, the guy should absolutely be a moderator for one. And if he's not, then that's my fault. And I'm going to make him one right freaking now. And okay, so now
the
you're a
big
moderator, Patrick. But let me go to your channel. What did he say?
No, we mentioned the big reel. Where's he at? And he sent this link, so I don't know what this link goes to. I'm assuming it goes to the Eat Out Patio page. I don't know.
Let's try it. Let's check it out.
Let's check it out.
He says he's a redneck. Yes, you definitely are a redneck, Ryan. You're the only white person I've ever met that says, ask me a question. I'm like, oh my God.
And he was a police officer too, so it's pretty awesome.
Yes, indeed. And he's very appropriate, and he's a wonderful guy. I mean, talk about integrity, follow through. You don't find a lot of white guys like that in Thailand.
Well, and talk about leave your baggage at home. Leave your baggage in the States. If you're coming from the States, come to Thailand, open-minded, be prepared to be just changed. I mean, it changed my life. And if you go there with a mind of change or excitement, you're going to have that much more of a great time. You really will. I mean, such as I go and I say, my pet, to almost everything I order, which means, you guys, it means not spicy. It says no spice, please. And they still make it spicy a lot of the times. And you know what? I just smile and nod, and I'm like, darn it, I don't get mad. I don't get refunds or anything like that. I'll eat what I can eat. And again, most of the time they get it right. But,
realize
sometimes
that sometimes they don't. Also, when you go to a restaurant, realize that like the orders are going to come out very serially, not in parallel. So if Robbie and I go to a restaurant and I order something and he orders something, and potentially it could be the exact same thing, one of those plates is going to come out and the other one won't for like sometimes 5 minutes. So just be open to that. That link that Ryan shared, by the way, thank you for scanning the QR code. We get notified when you guys do that. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, what's the QR code go to, Mike? Why don't you tell us?
Listen to the spot. Basically, it's going to go to our website. And so what I would love for you guys to do over there on the website is go to the pro tips section. I did say that the best pro tip we were going to get this week is going to give us, we're going to give them a free t-shirt. The only downside is for you, potentially, I think it's a great opportunity, is for you to pay for Robbie to drive his $65,000 Sprinter van to your location. Thank you again for someone else who scanned it. And deliver it by hand. And all you got to do is pay for the shipping. And that thing gets, 17 miles to the gallon. And diesel fuel right now being about $6, a gallon, it's only going to cost you about $2,000, $2,100 to get them over there.
I'm getting 20 miles to the gallon. Come on, man.
20? Jesus.
Yeah,
look
it's
at
a
you
turbo
driving
diesel.
around without the AC on.
It's a Mercedes turbo diesel, and it gets 20 to 24.
Sprinter, dude. You're a friggin' star.
Can you believe that?
Oh, my Buddha. Did we miss one of Joe's tips?
I don't know. Just the tip,
Did we miss
Joe.
one?
What did you send us?
Just the tip, Joe. Well, maybe it was just this. Just be open-minded.
Yeah, it might have been. Well, I like this. This guy's wondering, did we get the picture? Well, I posted it, so that means he wasn't watching, so I hope he was listening.
Well, yeah, the comments come in sometimes later. What does Side Trip Life say? I love this guy. I wish he could be on the channel. Absolutely.
Who's that?
Side Trip Life. He's friggin' awesome. Currently in Thailand, almost impossible to get staff. Every place understaffed, patience peeps. Yeah, I would agree with that. Now in Bangkok, it's a little bit easier because
What's he
people
mean
are like,
by that?
okay.
Impossible to get staff?
So in other words, they can't hire enough people, right? So you're not going to have enough waiters. You're not going to have enough waitresses. You're not going to have enough cleaning people. You're not going to have enough chefs, right? I mean, as we know, what our buddy from Wombat, it was a challenge for him to find a decent chef. And then he needed to hire a couple more because of like high season. So yeah, it's a little hard, and especially where Side Trip Life goes. Because I mean, he doesn't take the train to Bangkok. He takes the train out of Bangkok. He takes it down to these cities, Prachuap Khiri Khan, Cha Am, that sort of place. And
what's his channel again? Do we have a link for that? Because I would love to get it.
It's called Side Trip Live.
Yeah, well, I didn't know. I mean, a link.
Just youtube.com/@Side Trip Live. So, yeah, you definitely put Robbie, I guess, is going to type that and put that in there. But definitely check him out. I need to find out actually how many subs he's at, because he's got to be at like 100,000 by now. The guy is just an absolute star. Additionally, he also shares my love for electric vehicles. So the engineer in me is deeply in love with Side Trip Life, ladies and gentlemen.
Nice,
but yeah, he's really cool. Plus, he's Canadian, so that means
he's from Canada. Awesome. Hey, here we go. What's the best pro tip? What is this best pro tip? I want to know what it is.
Go, buddy. We got enough time for you to give us your best pro tip. Thank you for scanning the QR code. I really appreciate it. Hopefully that was Side Trip Life that scanned it. Where's Side Trip Life watching us, actually? Is he watching us on my channel? Oh, I love you for that, STL. But, dude, you got to get over to the spot. Please. Please go over to the spot.
Definitely.
Yeah, that would be amaze balls.
And we're talking the next couple of episodes. We will be 100% over at the spot. We haven't made the final decision, but I can tell you we're only a couple episodes shy before we make that jump, I would say. What do you think, Mike, next couple of weeks?
Definitely. I mean, you guys, first of all, thank you. A big cop from both of us for getting us to 1,000 subs. That's obviously a huge milestone for us, but we're really south of the 4,000 watch hours that we need, sadly. And so I will just say that I love you guys for getting us over the hump at 1,000. But,
another scan of the QR code. Thank you, guys.
Yes,
appreciate it.
Absolutely. Does that show up on the screen, or does it just show up on our screens? I don't know whether it shows up for the other people. I hope it does.
I don't know. It just says 5 QR code people right now. So that's cool. Much appreciated.
Where was Side Trip Life watching? Interesting. I guess it was on Live My Ass Off. I'll go and check him out. Anyway, I want to hear Brent with an N, right? It's Brent with an N. I want to hear his best pro tip ever. We should probably put the banner up there. If it's going to be a pro tip, it should probably have big yellow lettering on it right now. That's what I'm thinking.
So before we get into the next pro tip, why don't you explain what this 101 is all about?
Oh,
that was our title.
Right.
So why don't you give us a quick look on that and explain to us.
The Thailand 101 basically came out because as I was coming over to Thailand and as I was meeting with you guys and interfacing with other guys like, over on chat or whatever, like Side Trip Life, who had been over here a long time, that had a professional type YouTube channel that had given it, I realized, and I was working in higher ed at the time, right? So you use 101 for a lot of things, like Math 101, Computers 101. You joke around about it. It's like, oh my God, this guy's such an idiot. Didn't he take English 101 or whatever, right? But then I thought to myself, well, Thailand 101 is actually really important because there are levels. Like, in other words, what do you do on your first trip? We've talked about that on this channel now. We've talked about it before. And then we talk about what do you do when you've been over here and back and forth for 3 years like Robbie, and you're not going to like quit your job and not basically have a life in the United States or a life that you work on remotely from the United States. You're going to be in transition for several years. Or you're like me and you like did the vacation thing for a while and then decided, okay, I've got all of my ducks in a row. Now I'm going to basically make Thailand my home, and every other place is basically going to be a vacation spot for me, which is my life, right? So in other words, my goal is come back to Boston area, go to our family home, meet with my folks, hang out with them, with me and Gracie over the summer. So Thailand 101 is basically the beginning. How do you come over here the first time? And honestly, those are the conference calls. Those are the calls that I have most regularly with guys. And anyone on this channel, I will totally help you guys for fun and for free. I love doing it.
Totally.
It seems though that like a lot of people, they want to spend like $50 to $100 to talk to me for an hour. It's not a requirement. I would prefer actually when you come over here, you take that money and you buy Robbie and I and Kitty and Gracie dinner.
A smoothie. I'll take a smoothie. Joe,
I will absolutely
I owe,
take a smoothie.
I owe Joe tons
Big
of hand holding to the ATM and hand holding.
Indeed. Well, that's the infamous hand job. But Thailand 101 is my Robbie's ability for you to help you guys through sort of like the first day, our first 100 days, if you will.
Yeah.
Right. So anyway, so that was sort of the reasoning behind it. And I mean, I had a website for a while called Expatola, and that like allowed you guys to like sign up for one of those things, sign up for insurance, all that. It just wasn't my passion. I love talking with people one-on-one, or as we do here, you know, 1-on-23. And thank all of you guys for watching and all of the thumbs up. And being able to sort of, you know, give advice that way or share my experience that way. I will tell you that I absolutely share my experience, my strength, and my hope, but I also share my opinion. And so that's why I answer most questions with, well, it depends. But anyway, so that's Thailand 101. So thanks for bringing that up, Robbie. I really appreciate it. I'm going to actually grab a cool and refreshing beverage here just for a second as we wrap up. But you give some of your Thailand 101.
Man, my Thailand 101. You guys want to hear from my Thailand 101? I'll just tell you what, guys. I mentioned that pill box earlier. So what I tend to do is I actually have a day bag, and I was going to talk about that on this video. We'll just talk about it right now. This day bag is something like when I get off the plane or when I'm going around Thailand or whatever, it's always on my shoulder. And I get asked, what the heck is in that day bag? Especially if I'm not carrying a GoPro camera or something like that. So I always carry a couple of things that I've used. So one of the things I carry with me, of course, is a photocopy of my passport, my pill box if I need it. I carry extra pair of socks. I'm all about clean socks. And I'm one of those guys who will wear sandals and socks. I know it sounds crazy. Some of you guys, you can laugh at me. That's all right. Kitty has fun with it because I don't care if my socks match or not. And so I'll wear socks and sandals, and I put it in my bag. And lastly, I carry washcloth. And then lastly, I carry a roll of TP, man. Got to have the TP with you. How many times I've gone into a bathroom, especially if you're island hopping and there's no TP, got to carry that, or no bum gun. So if you guys want to know what a bum gun is, that's a little squirt thing that we squirt. And yeah, that is pretty much my big pro tips of this. Carry a day bag with you. It's totally all right. Put your money in there. Again, I carry a GoPro, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, that was pretty much what Mike just missed, but that's okay. It's okay if you missed out on that.
I can watch on the replay,
beverage.
Which many of you guys can do if you don't know. Yeah, when can they watch or listen?
That's right. You guys can watch or listen on Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. Bangkok time or 5 p.m. here in California on Tuesday. And it's a replay of this. And then usually I'm on to answer questions. I'll chat with you guys. Mike's might be on also. So don't be afraid to catch the replay. Share it with a friend, somebody who's coming over to Thailand, all that kind of cool stuff. Don't be afraid to do that. That's totally cool. So, Mike, before we go, let's mention one of our other sponsors real quick.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah. So, All Point IPTV. This is almost like a Thailand 102 sort of recommendation, and I'll tell you why. Because if you're coming over here on vacation, there's a high likelihood that you're like, okay, I don't really need to know what's going on in the U.S. I don't need to pay attention. I'm not going to read the Wall Street Journal every single day. But if you're over here for any amount of time, and by that I'm talking about over the standard sort of 2 weeks. The easiest thing for you guys to do is go to allpointiptv.com and just check it out for 24 hours. Why would you do that? Well, you're probably paying $10 a month right now for Netflix. But if you want Netflix and you want all these other things, you want movies and you want sporting events and you want to be able to watch the game from back home, whether that's baseball or football or, March Madness, right? That's happening happening right now. allpointiptv.com. They're a great sponsor. They've been really generous to us. But yeah, go to allpointiptv.com and you can watch pretty much everything you watch at home over here.
$10.
Imagine having basically a sling box that is handled by somebody else. That's the experience. It's dynamite.
There you go. $10 too.
free, basically
love it.
free.
I love it. And bum gun.
Oh my God. Why is that not the first pro tip that I talked about? My God, side trip.
Because I just talked about it while you were gone getting your beverage. And these guys are going to be left thinking about that as we're going to be signing out of here. Man, it was a great day.
I think actually we should not give away T-shirts. We should give away bum guns. I will personally fly to the United States and drive to your home and install it in there. Because if not, and I come back to the U.S. and we're hanging out and I realize you don't have one of those, I'm walking around with some dude with a dirty bum. And that's not happening. When I know that there's a solution to something and you're not making yourself available to it, no, I don't like the poop. Not a fan. Not a fan. So, it's funny. I actually first saw that and I thought, oh, it's Mojo making a joke, but then I saw that it's you. So I know it's accurate because you are German.
But they're actually laughing at me because I tell them that I put extra socks in my backpack, and a lot of times I'll wear my Crocs with socks. So,
Crocs with socks. Good man.
Crocs with
nice
socks.
Work. Now,
so
he said he's going to give you but it's a long pro tip that he sent you, so we can go over it basically probably early on the next show on next week.
Yeah, I'll go check it out. I'll check out the pro tip, and we'll talk about it. He said it's the best one ever.
Clearly, it must
Maybe
be.
he's the winner chicken dinner.
I bet if I had to guess, I would be like, oh, I know what it is. Travel with Aunt B because she's amazing. How you doing?
And
there,
here they are
B?
right here.
Hey-o. Look at her teeth. They're perfect.
I know.
Is
she coming to Thailand too?
She better be coming to Thailand. I mean, Brent's cool, and he's pounding sand, but I want to kick it with B. Yeah.
We'll hang out.
We'll hang out. We'll have a cool and refreshing beverage, which, of course, for me is Schweppes Manow, but obviously it's the mirror image.
And for me, a Coke Zero. And
Coke
with
Zero,
all
big
of that,
fan.
I'm Robbie with Walking in My Shoes. I'm actually Robbie with the Spot.fm.
Indeed.
Robbie the
And I hope to
Butcher
see you guys on
the
Tuesday or
Spot.
Wednesday. And yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday. And this is my buddy Mike over here. I'm actually more of his sidekick than he's mine. That's for sure.
This has been a great show, dude. Thank you, Robbie. This is awesome. I love doing this. I'm stoked when you get here and we can actually physically do this one next to each other. De nada, amigo. De nada. It's Mike's from the Spot.fm saying, I hope you guys are living the dream, because if you are not living the dream, you're doing it wrong, and it's real easy to do it right. Just come over here to Thailand and watch the Spot. Talk to you guys soon.
Peace, guys. We're out of here.
Ciao.